I observed at Foster and Canella Elementary this semester. I really enjoyed these schools. They were in stark contrast to the schools that I observed at in last year for Miss Kate's class. Foster and Canella, although they were both Title I schools, were somewhat higher end schools than the schools in which I have previously observed. One of my favorite experiences in observing this semester was at Canella Elementary in Miss Stereotype's class. I call her Miss Stereotype because she is what many think of when they think of a teacher. She is a mid-30s white woman who is married and has children of her own. Her classroom was very organized and had different areas set aside for different things. I felt comfortable when I entered her classroom. She introduced me to the students and made it known that I would just be sitting and watching their class that day. The school was situated in a safe-looking area. From outside the school's gate, it appeared that it was quite small and poor-looking. But once you walk through the gates, the office opens out into a courtyard with multiple buildings and a new first-grade building. The neighborhood was not very built up. There were few households near the school. The Indian Conference Center in Tampa was nearby the school. The students in the class were very diverse. It appeared that there were multiple ethnic groups and multiple socioeconomic statuses. There were definitely multiple ability levels within the classroom. This didn't appear to affect the teacher, though. She was caring and capable of helping all the students. She seemed to have an idea of how to help each of her students and made sure that that happened. There were a couple students that stuck out to me in regards to their abilities. One of them seemed to have no issues with the material. She moved quickly through the material when it was assigned and seemed to understand what she was doing. Another student seemed to straggle along slightly. After speaking to the teacher during lunch, I found that this was one of her special education students. In this case, I would have never guessed that this particular girl had a disability. The third student was one that I could not miss. He was an autistic boy in the same classroom with all of these other students. I was surprised to see this child mainstreamed because I hear repeatedly that mainstreaming is something that rarely happens. He did whatever he wanted. The teacher also told me that the administration had told her to simply work on his social skills. She had a major problem with this because she felt that she was robbing this student of his education. We have spoken in this class about how the classrooms we will be teaching in will be diverse on many levels. This classroom brought 3 of those levels to a higher level of understanding in my mind. The 3 levels were ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and ability level. This classroom was full of diversity. During class, we have also discussed how we do not bring diversity into our classrooms, but that it is there waiting for us when we walk inside. This was very much brought to the forefront of my mind with this observation, because I could not have made this classroom more diverse if I had tried. I felt this experience gave me a more whole view of diverse classrooms. It made me feel more aware of how diversity can show itself in a classroom setting. Also, I never would have noticed the different kinds of items used in multicultural education. Physically looking for them in the classroom was probably the only way that I would have noticed this. In every classroom, there were books, images, and projects that showed multicultural education. Something that I never thought of before was the idea of having disabled students in my classroom, like the boy with autism. I am an advocate for mainstreaming classrooms because I feel that it is important for all students to feel as though they belong, but it never crossed my mind that I would actually have a student like this in my classroom. It was reinforced to me that diversity exists and education has to be continually changed to accompany the issues that diversity brings to the table.